Forget canned soup, loaded with sodium, yet thin and tasteless. Grandma's Bridge Club had something far better. Bridge Club hostesses in the 1950s kept a different recipe. Dried porcini, fresh cremini, a splash of sherry, cream that went in at the end. The soup they served was thick enough to coat a spoon and smelled like something worth sitting down for. That recipe is still out there, and it takes about 40 minutes to make. If your grandmother had a soup that silenced a whole table, leave a comment below. Today we're making it. Spring 1958, a suburban kitchen in Dayton, Ohio. The Bridge Club met every Thursday, and the rule was simple. Every hostess brought the main dish. Margaret Heller had the soup. She learned the recipe from her aunt, who had cooked in a hotel kitchen during the war and knew how to make inexpensive ingredients taste like they cost more than they did. Dried porcini mushrooms were a pantry staple, cheap, shelf-stable, and packed with flavor. A 1-ounce bag soaked in hot water became a dark, earthy broth that gave the soup its backbone. Fresh mushrooms went in later for texture. Butter, onion, a little flour to thicken it, and heavy cream to finish. The sherry was Margaret's touch, 2 tablespoons, stirred in just before the cream, that gave the soup a warmth the other ladies always asked about. At a potluck table crowded with baked ham, green bean casserole, and Jell-O salad, a thin canned soup disappears. Margaret's did not. It arrived thick, fragrant, and a different color than anything from a tin. People took a second bowl before the cards were dealt. The economics made sense too. A bag of dried porcini cost less than a pound of ground beef and went further. 1 pot on the stove left the other burners free. For a household running on 1 income, that mattered. Campbell's condensed mushroom soup came out in 1934, and by the 1950s, it was on every grocery shelf. Fast, cheap, useful as a casserole base. But served straight as soup, it fell flat, too salty, too thin, no real mushroom depth. The canned version traded flavor for speed, and most people eventually noticed. Margaret's soup took 40 minutes. The result outlasted every compliment the ham got. The recipe comes from a hand-copied notebook that circulated through Dayton church and bridge circles in the late 1950s. No official publication, just women passing it along. Here's what you need for 6 bowls. 1 ounce dried porcini, 4 cups chicken stock, 1 cup heavy cream, 2. Let's cook. Start by soaking the porcini. Drop the whole ounce into a heat-proof bowl and pour a cup of hot water over them. Let them sit for 20 to 30 minutes. They'll soften and the water will turn a deep amber color, almost like weak tea. When they're ready, lift them out with a fork, give them a rough chop, and set them aside. Pour the soaking liquid through a fine sieve into a measuring cup and keep it. That liquid is flavor earthy, concentrated free. Don't skip it. While the mushrooms soak, melt the butter in a heavy pot over medium heat. Add the diced onion and leave it mostly alone. Stir every couple of minutes, but let it sit long enough to pick up some color. You're aiming for soft and golden at the edges, which takes 8 to 10 minutes. Rush this and the onion stays sharp. Once it looks right, add the garlic and stir for 1 more minute. The kitchen should smell sweet and slightly nutty by now. Add the sliced fresh mushrooms and the thyme sprigs. This is the step most people get wrong. They stir too much, and the mushrooms steam instead of brown. Give them a stir every few minutes, but let them sit. They'll release a lot of liquid first, then that liquid will cook off, and the pan will look almost dry. That's exactly where you want to be. The mushrooms should have a light brown color, and the earthy smell gets noticeably stronger. Takes about 10 to 12 minutes. Sprinkle the flour over the mushrooms and stir until every piece is coated. Keep stirring for 2 minutes. The flour needs to cook out, otherwise the soup will taste powdery. It'll turn a light tan and smell faintly nutty. Don't let it go darker than that. If it starts to clump, break it up and keep the heat moderate. Pour the stock in gradually, stirring as you go. Add it in 3 or 4 additions rather than all at once. This keeps lumps from forming. Once all the stock is in, add the reserved mushroom soaking liquid. Bring everything to a gentle simmer. You'll see small bubbles at the edge of the pot. Let it cook for 15 minutes, stirring now and then, until the broth thickens enough to coat the back of a spoon. If it looks too thin after 15 minutes, give it 5 more. Stir in the chopped rehydrated porcini and the sherry. The porcini will soak up some of the broth and darken. The sherry will smell sharp for about 30 seconds, then it mellows into something warm and round. Let the soup simmer for 5 more minutes. Taste it here if it's too salty. Add a splash of plain water or unsalted stock. Turn the heat down to low. Pour in the heavy cream and stir as it folds into the broth. The soup will shift from brown to a creamy tan. Don't let it boil from this point. A hard boil can break the cream and leave a grainy texture. If you see any separation, drop the heat and stir steadily until it comes back together. Taste again. The cream softens the earthiness and gives the soup a weight that makes it feel like a full meal. Season with salt and freshly ground black pepper. Remove the thyme sprigs. Ladle into warm bowls and scatter chopped parsley over the top. Serve with buttered toast points alongside the bread is for soaking up what's left in the bowl. That same pot, 40 minutes of work. The dried mushrooms do most of the flavor work before the stove even gets warm, and the sherry at the end is the detail that makes people ask for the recipe. Next time we're pulling out a 1940s chicken pot pie that was a fixture at church suppers long before the frozen kind existed. If you want more of these, subscribe. The bowl sitting on the counter right now, golden broth, a few flecks of green parsley, a piece of toast resting against the rim. That's what 40 minutes and a bag of dried mushrooms